I'm sorry I have to leave a little early because of another appointment. But as is I think a lot of people may not be able to understand Sindhi, so I'm going to try to speak in English, that's okay. As is the tradition from Sindh, I'll start with a verse from Shah Latif. I'll try to translate it and then not take a lot of your time. So Shah Latif, like most traditional poets from the Indus Valley, his poetry is based on folk stories. They're called the Surs. And one of the most powerful Surs of Shah Latif is Sasi Punu, where he describes the struggles of Sasi in search of her love, Punu. So now I wanted you to take a journey with me and imagine Sasi, who's a young girl, alone in the mountains, most of the rugged mountains, in search of Punu, and she's now talking to the mountains. So she says that tapi kane ko dungara duko yen toje pan papaja the linga munja lo kejo kone do amar musi. So to describe this, imagine the most helpless, the most oppressed, the weakest form of humanity in the form of a lonely girl in the mountains, all alone, speaking to the symbol of strength, a mountain. And how does she address the mountain? So she says to the mountain, she says, why are you getting so hot? Imagine this is the middle of the summer in one of the most arid, hottest areas in the country. The mountain is getting hot. This girl walking barefoot is not able to walk, but she does not beg the mountain for mercy. She talks to the mountain and says, why are you getting so hot? What do you think you're going to do by heating up? Because I'm already burned. There's nothing more that you can do to me. So this is the oppressed talking to the oppressor and telling the oppressor that you can increase your oppression to whatever you want. You can't hurt me anymore because I am already hurt. And in the end, that the climax of this is that when she says, tapi kande ko tungara du koyanke toje pad pabajat linga munjalo kejo kone no amar musik. The height is when the oppressed tells the oppressor that I am forgiving you. Because your oppression, whatever you do, it does not affect me anymore. And that is the path of resistance. When as an oppressor, you don't beg for mercy. When as an oppressed, you don't beg for mercy from the oppressor. You address them as the weaker person because the oppressor is always the weaker person. Because the weak will never, a strong entity, a human being or a nation will never oppress somebody that is weaker than them in strength. It is the weakness of their morality, it's the weakness of their character. And I'm not going to take a lot of your time, but of all the people who have resisted oppression in our part of the world, you can talk about Bacha Khan, you can talk about GM Syed, you can talk about so many people who have given up their lives. They were the greatest symbols of strength and courage because they devoted their lifetimes to fighting oppression and for freedom. And if you cannot learn anything else from them, if you can learn their courage to stand against the worst oppression but not give up your principles, that is going to be your greatest lesson. As I said yesterday, I always tell people among the young group here, if you don't read, I don't care if you read the Quran or if you don't read the Quran, if you read the Gita, you don't read the Gita, doesn't matter. Especially the young people here. And there's one book that I always tell people, the young people to read, is the autobiography of Nelson Mandela, A Long March to Freedom. Nelson Mandela was a man who was imprisoned for 30 years. His nation was oppressed in the worst form. But in the end, the man not only got freedom for himself, but he was able to free his own nation because one thing he never allowed anybody to enslave his mind. So as long as your mind is free, nobody can oppress you, nobody can enslave you. So keep your minds free and believe in yourself and never submit to oppression. That is my message today. I'm going to finish with Charles Syed, another verse, and then I'm going to not take a lot of time. Shah Syed said, "Sarkiyo ruki sunye, mataka musi pani nae pandhagar, agya rado ruki runye, mata mere unye de parato punalage." Now imagine the same sasti. She is leaving the comforts of her home in search of her beloved. And her friends want to go with her. What does she say to her friends? She says, "Don't come with me." She says, in front of me, there's nothing but arid dryness. There's no life there. Maybe if you go there because there's no food, there's no water, you might get thirsty, you might get hungry. And then you may say something against my beloved. So she says, you stay in the luxury of your homes. Don't come with me. This is the path that I'll take myself. Because I don't want you to ever even utter a word against my beloved. Sasi's beloved was Punu. Our beloved is our home. Our beloved is our land. So whatever we do, whatever you can call us any names you want, but we do not want anybody to ever utter a word against our land, our people. And that is what our struggles are about. So thank you very much. My most sincere gratitude to each one of you that you have the courage to stand up for the right. So please keep standing for the right. And the right and wrong is not limited to any nationality, any language. Those are universal principles. When it comes to standing against oppression, that's a basic human principle. So let's stand together, let's be each other's strength, and in the end, you will always prevail as long as you don't ever give up on your principles. Thank you very much.